Hi, it's Anne. Thanks for stopping by. We've got something really different today. Let's just imagine you have something that you want to put into your junk journal, and I just grabbed this postcard as an example. You want it to be on a page, but you're tired of pockets. You know, you don't want to just stick it in a pocket because you want the whole thing to show. Maybe you have a really busy background and you don't want to cover it up with permanently with a pocket, but you want the thing to be removable. What to do? Well, here is a fun little idea that I saw recently on Instagram. And I will show you. I don't know the name of the person, but here's the name of their channel, Rashawn Wilms. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I wanted to share that with you. And I don't know if this is the artist's name or if it's just the name of the channel. But anyway, I share that and I'll put it in the description box below so you can go check that person out, because that's where this idea came from. I did not think of it myself. But when you see this, it will still likely be familiar. You know, you find old photo albums. I know my mom had them from back in the day that had these little pockets, and they would fit in the corner of a photo, and then the photo could just adhere right down to the page like that. And you could take your, take the photo out and look at the back and then just insert it again. And that's what we are going to make today. We're going to make it stick a little more permanently to the page than I have done here. And we're going to make it out of washi tape. And that is that's the great idea I got from this wonderful channel, Rashawn Wilms. Appeared to be in German, and but you know, crafting covers all languages. It's easy to see what's going on. I think you'll be surprised at how easy this is to make. I'm going to use a couple of different kinds of tape to give you some options, and we're going to use some paper too. But let's just get to the basic technique. This is sort of a wider washi tape. I suppose you could make it out of narrower washi tape as well. This is the widest washi tape I have, and I kind of wanted to try that. So is this inch wide? Yeah, this is inch wide washi tape. So I pull off, again, as you know, I don't have a very extensive washi tape collection, but I pull off, you could use, I was making some practice ones just out of masking tape too, which would work perfectly well. So I cut off tore off about 10 inches, and I'm going to use my mat as a guide here. Can't quite see what you're seeing here, but hopefully you can see this. And I'm using, because I want to be forming a 90-degree right angle with the way I have this tape formed. I have it sticky side down here, and I take it here, I'm going to twist it underneath, and I'm going to lay that lower sticky side up piece against another line that's at right angles with our first line. There we go. I am hoping you can see this. I might have to adjust my camera a little bit. There we go. Yeah, that should be okay. Okay, so we have our L, our right angle, with this angle here coming to a point here, and I'm going to take this leg and move it up like this. They're not going to be exactly the same come out, but that's okay. They don't have to be. So we have this little downward pointing arrow. Now I'm going to pull it up, and this is where there's all kinds of stickiness everywhere, and that's just part of this project. And I'm going to take one leg here, one sticky leg, and pull it down. So that the edge lines up perfectly right at the point of our little chevron there, our little arrow. And pull the other leg and pull it down the exact same way. So this is flat now. Turn it over again. And then I'm going to do some cutting. I have done this in my practicing both with my scissors and with a straight edge and a knife. But what you're going to want to do is this edge here, the edge of our decorative washi tape, where it meets the sticky side that comes at an angle, you're going to visually extend that angle down here and cut here. So you've got a straight line from this cut edge to this folded edge. We're going to be doing this several times over. So don't worry if it's not becoming clear, quite clear at first. Actually, let me do this a different way so you can see both ways that I have done this. I take a straight edge and I put that straight edge along this folded edge. It's taking a little bit longer, but it will probably be more accurate, and I want you to be able to see that. There we go. Well, the stickiness is preventing things from lying flat, but we're going to be able to get close enough. And then I'm going to cut along my straight edge here because I have confidence this is going to be a straight line because I have this part up, butted up next to that folded edge. I'm going to do it either way. Now it looks like I didn't get completely accurate on that, but it's going to be fine. Okay, so we have our little sticky flaps, and I'm going to turn it over again. And then our sticky parts, I'm going to fold one up this way, so it's part of that triangle. Sticky side up, fold this way. Also sticky side up. And what I've made here is a little pocket that has the non-sticky side all the way around the inside. So when you put your journal card in there, it's not going to stick to it. And there's our little pocket. Let's do another one, and then we'll get it affixed down. Maybe this one will go a little bit faster. Yeah, between 9 and 10 inches, because there is a little bit of waste here. All right. Bring this down using my straight edge, my straight lines on my mat as a guide. And you could use, truthfully, the first time I did this was over my breakfast coffee one morning, and I was in my kitchen using masking tape and using the kitchen, the tiles on the kitchen counter as my straight edge guide. So lots of different ways to get a right angle here. Again, a right angle here, an angle here, 45-degree angle. Okay, there this is. Bring this right side up and lay it right down so it touches that left-hand piece of washi tape. There we go. Now, this way, and put one leg up. Hold this whatever way makes sense to you. And one leg comes up this way. I do recommend practicing because you're going to feel a little bit like, sometimes you see parents of toddlers on airplanes that, bring along a roll of masking tape for their children to play with to entertain them during the flight. I think that's a pretty brilliant idea. And the kids there, all sticky and having fun untangling things. You're going to feel a little bit like that kid, but hopefully you'll be having as much fun as that kid as well. All right, I'm going to go back in with my scissors here because that's going to get me, I think, close enough. Visually, I'm looking at this line. I'm going to extend it here. And we're not looking for Swiss clock precision. We're just getting pretty close. Here's our line coming down here and cutting back in. All right, now we flip it over and we're going to make our final triangle. Sticky side up and sticky side up. Now I've got it kind of extending away from me. It's hard for me to see here. Sticky side up. Now, when I go to fix this down on the page, I am definitely going to put some extra glue on it because, you know, washi tape doesn't have a strong adherence factor. I'm going to trim a little bit of that extra sticking out, but there's our two little pockets. What shall we adhere down? Do you want, why don't we, I think I'm going to save this page for something later. I have been thinking about putting this little booklet down on a page because I don't know what in the world. This is just a piece of map with some just scratch paper, a little booklet. But I loved this this photo I found of this gal in a magazine, and I pulled this. Oh, now I have a plan, she said. I got that just out of some book. And I had it in a little bin, and I thought that would be kind of cute. She looks like she's got a plan. I'm digging her. So this would be something to pull out of a journal, and then we can write about whatever this plan is. But it's good. These are the type of thing, it would be hard to mass make these and have a whole bunch of them in advance, you know, like a lot of times I put things in, you know, a little basket or something like that so I can dig back into them. These, because there's sticky parts absorbed, would be a little difficult to do that with. Another reason why it's kind of good to make them right when you're ready to put something down into a journal is you don't know how far apart you want your little mounting corners to be. I guess that's what these are called, aren't they? They're like little mounting corners. So we're going to put them with the sticky side down on the actual piece that we want to affix. And I'm going to get out my art glitter glue and just put on that sticky side because that's not going to hold if we just let the washi tape adhesive. It's asking too much of that adhesive. All right, so let's flip this over and get it right onto this page. And this is a little signature page that's going to be all ready to stitch into a little bit of a journal. I kind of feel like I want to put this in one of my vintage office journals or something. I think that would be cute. We're going to let this dry. But once that dries, those are not going to be going anywhere. And we can pull out that little booklet and write in it and read what we wrote. And it's just a different way to attach something to a page. Let's use a different kind of tape. I love to have this kind of tape handy. And this is packing, you know, an adhesive packing tape. I use this a lot in the craft room. We're going to do the same thing. This one is going to be a little bit different because obviously it's much wider. It's twice as wide as the other one. So I'm going to come out just a little bit longer. And we are going to want to make certain when we use this that we have a card that's inserted into that little infrastructure that is really flexible, because it's going to have to bend a little bit to get in and out of this of these little mounting corners that we have. Okay, this is sticking to my mat. I'm going to turn it underneath so that the sticky side is up. How's that going to be? And when we do this, we're naturally creating a 45-degree angle here on this edge of our folded tape. This is really sticky. And here's our sticky side exposed. We're going to bring that up and create a little chevron here. There we go. Tape is strong. This is stronger than an actual washi tape. So you're going to have lots of different choices if you want to do this. Lots of choices on your materials. Okay, our one sticky leg, I'm going to have come up and have that edge just intersect with the point. And that's going to mean it's coming up flush with this end of our little triangle. And here's another side. There we go. It requires a little care in the folding, but I want those sticky sides adhering to each other. Going this way, now we're going to do our cutting. I think I am going to use my straight edge because this is wider and it's a little bit hard to eyeball where I want that cut to come across. So I'm going to wrestle the sticky side here and put my little aluminum ruler right up next to the edge of the tape in that folded triangle and cut there. And we'll do the same thing here. That stickiness works on this stuff, I'll tell you that. And there we go. Whoops. Hold my aluminum ruler down a little more firmly though, so it catches. There we go. All right, now sticky side is exposed here on these little flaps. We turn it over. And this comes sticky side up, flush with the top, and then the other sticky side. I'm gonna have to turn that so I can see it a little bit more. This other sticky side also coming up. And if you find that you have some of the little sticky sides exposed, you can either trim them off, or if they're on a fold and you don't want to trim them off, you can get out a little bit of baby powder and just pat that on the sticky parts, and it won't be so sticky. There's our little corner mount made out of the packing tape. Because you're going to be seeing this several times, I'm going to show you an assembly that I made yesterday out of this packing tape. Isn't this cute? I just love how that looks holding this little journal card in place. And again, this is something, especially with this larger corner mount pocket, you are going to have to bend what goes in there. So you're not going to want to put like a booklet that's made out of chipboard or something like that. This is just, I guess this is a piece of watercolor paper that I just have, mounted a little bit of coverage, journaling space on the back. So this is pretty flexible, and it needs to be to get in here and get out of here again. I just did just a little bit of stamping on the corner, on that little corner mounting piece, and I did also put down some glue when I mounted that down. So you have to be a little bit careful getting things in and out, but it's going to be permanently fixed in there. It's going to be fine. Let's look at one other way to do this, because I haven't done this yet, and I think this might be fun to see how it goes. What if we didn't want to use tape at all, but we just wanted to use regular paper? Will it work? I don't know. Let's find out. I have just these little strips of some rather thin scrapbook paper. I'm going to use one of my little washi pieces that I cut off earlier to stick that down. And right here on my mat, the same way. Now see the white side we see, that's going to be the equivalent of the sticky side of the washi tape. So I'm just going to choose any line that's going to be perpendicular to our first line. And there we go. There that is. And there this is. I could put a little bit of glue under here, although I don't know how necessary that is, but I'll just put just a little bit there, since I have my art glitter glue handy. So same formation we had before. We're going to come up with this. It's not sticky, so it shouldn't be so tricky to handle. Now this is sticky, so I want it to adhere to what I'm putting next to it. The same formation. Once you've done it with the sticky stuff, it's, you know, it's going to be visually, you know, apparent to you how to form all of this. And there's my line. Trust yourself, you know. Trust yourself to make these cuts. All right, turn it over, and we want the sticky side up. In this case, it's the white side. That sticky side is going to be up. I'm going to make it sticky with a little glue here. I don't know exactly how well this is going to work. Now, these are some that you could mass make ahead of time if you were inclined to do so. And actually, these could be, you know, you could use a pretty wide piece of paper and make like just a tuck spot in a corner of a page, just have one there and use it as a little pocket. I never thought of doing that, but there's that little pocket. Let's do one more. So we have a set here. These are fun. It's something that, you know, a little bit different from a pocket. You know, they're not, you know, they take a little bit, you know, you have to take a little bit more care getting the things in and out of those mounting corners than you would if something was just in a pocket. But, you know, you decide what is best for you in your journal. There we go. Now this one I don't, I don't have it up next to one of the lines on my mat, but I can tell that the edge of my paper is going to be parallel to this. So I'm not going to worry about the placement too much. There we go. There's that fold. And that white side folding in on itself. It's always handy to have little scraps of washi sitting around. Well, not always. Sometimes sometimes they're just in the way, but today it happened to be handy. All right. Make these things sticky. Go. And there we go. Yeah, I had never seen anything like this before, but I do remember those corner mounts from my mom's old photo albums, especially from my sisters, my older sisters. I think she kept much more meticulous photo albums of my older sisters. By the time I came around, there was a lot of kids around by then. Well, not that many. There was 4 of us, but she had her hands full, so bless her heart. I don't blame her for having a few fewer photos. The photos that are around of me are pretty cute, though. I will say that. My sister Karen is the one that keeps all the old family photos now. If I ever have reason to need a photo of myself from when I was 3 years old or something like that, I probably don't have it here anywhere. But Karen will have it, and she has things meticulously cataloged. Electronically, not with paper mounting squares. There we go. But you know, if you were doing some sort of a old family scrapbook or something, wouldn't it be fun just to make a lot of these things in black, whether it was washi tape or whether it's paper like this, and have, you know, have them be in those, you know, in those sort of mounted square sort of things. What do I have over here? I have, this is kind of a cute little card, and that might look kind of cute with these little red mounting squares. That might be handy. What shall I put them on? Oh, I'm just going to put them on this. I can decorate around the edges of the page in some little way if I wish to do so. But those fit and they're properly spaced. Or they will be if I get them fitted in place, like putting new tires on a car or something, isn't it? There we go. I can hear Dan preheating the oven upstairs. If you heard that beeping, that was our oven being set. He's roasting a bunch of vegetables for us for dinner this evening. There we go. So if you would like to try a new way to get some journal cards fixed down to a journal page, and you know, you don't want a pocket and you don't want to paper clip it in, you want something a little bit different, try these little corner mounts. I think you'll enjoy them. I know I am. Thanks a lot, guys. We will see you soon.